Hi everybody, I'm Pam. I'm a local bee enthusiast, and I'm fascinated by their intelligence, their healing powers, and their contribution to the ecosystem. I wasn't always a bee lover, but about 4 years ago, several colonies moved into a wall at my home. And and I started noticing that they weren't like those scary stereotypical bees that we always hear about, but they were pretty laid back. And so I began educating myself about them, and my fears were replaced with respect. And so now I'm actually a person that rescues and relocates feral honeybees. Swarms, they look pretty scary when you don't understand what's going on, but swarming bees aren't dangerous. They're just actually looking for a new home. Swarming is the way that honeybees relocate and divide their colonies when they've grown too big for their hive. So before setting out, they gorge themselves with honey, and so with full bellies and no home to defend, they're pretty passive. Honeybees appeared about 120 million years ago, and they're incredibly important to human survival. Many of our food crops, like apples and almonds, rely on their pollination. 70% of the food we eat would not exist without them, and bees contribute billions of dollars annually to the food industry. So I want you to meet the family. The honeybee family consists of the workers, the drones, and the queen. Worker honeybees are all female, and they live a very busy 6-week lifespan. Her age dictates her job, with the first 3 weeks of her life spent tending the hive. After that, she becomes a worker, and the worker becomes a forager, gathering nectar within a 3 to 5 mile radius of the hive. In one trip, she can visit between 75 to 3,000 flowers in one trip. It takes the nectar of 2 million flowers to create only 1 pound of honey. So there's a lot of work there. The returning forager gets back to the hive, and she passes the nectar by mouth to her sisters in the hive. The process of one bee passing nectar to another bee is what turns nectar into honey. Finally, she regurgitates it into a cell and fans it with her wings, and until the water evaporates, and that's what creates the honey. The oldest and most experienced bee becomes the scout bee, whose task is to locate new sources of pollen, nectar, water, and new homes. The area near the entrance of the hive is known as the dance floor, where the scouts convey all this new information to their sisters. Now, the drone is the only male and stingless bee in the colony. He's the original Mile High Club member whose sole function is to mate with the queen. That's it. Afterwards, he's dead. Drones lead a pretty easy life, never having to forage for food, build comb, create wax in the comb, or feed the young. So at 6 days old, the queen, she takes her first mating flight, during which she collects sperm from between 10 and 20 different drones, giving her a lifetime supply for egg production. Romantic? No. Efficient? Yes. After which, she never leaves the colony again unless she's with a swarm. The queen then becomes an egg-laying machine, laying up to 1,000 eggs a day, 200,000 eggs a year, and between 1 and 2 million eggs in her lifetime. Yeah. Okay. Which creates baby bees. And the baby bees, or brood, are located in the center of the hive. The hive is efficiency in design, with the nursery in the center, surrounded by the kitchen, or the food stores. To me, baby bees are really super cute. They're just like puppies and kittens. They're soft and fat and fuzzy and kind of whitish, and you can actually pick them up with your hands because they don't sting yet. The comb of feral colonies are usually a series of pancake-shaped lobes hanging in a vertical stack. They build comb in treetops, inside tree cavities, inside walls, utility boxes, you name it. Any place that is dry, shady, and ample room for space. Not everyone can keep a swarm or a hive in their yard. This can be due to children, animals, allergies to bee stings, things like that. However, because of the recent excessive bee die-off and the increasing threats to their habitats, extermination isn't an option anymore, and this is where someone like me comes along. In most cases, honeybee hive relocation, complete removal of the comb is important because the colony's brood, food, and the queen are all there in the comb, and we need that for her survival. the colony's survival if we're going to rehive them. Complete comb removal also discourages recolonization. The comb lobes are cut and put into frames to hang in the hive boxes. The bees notice and prefer their homes replicated, with the lobes reassembled in their exact order and sequence as the original hive was. An English honeybee queen can also be added to further domesticate the feral colony. It's easy to get started. You can buy your own bees online and start beekeeping right away. Many people are now keeping and rehiving their feral colonies and swarms, understanding that bees are beneficial insects and not pests. Honeybees are an indicator species and are canaries in the coal mine. They've been dying off in unprecedented rates due to monoculture, parasites, including a new zombie fly, and pesticides, thanks to chemical companies like Monsanto, Bayer, and DuPont with their GMO plants and their neurotoxic sprays. So, what can we do to help? You can start by planting bee-friendly gardens, become a beekeeper yourself, or adopt feral swarms or hives. Encourage the city to support beekeeping and develop honeybee sanctuaries. Contact local and state lawmakers with your concerns. The honeybee is a sacred part and significant contributor to our planet's web of life. She's been beside us since our beginnings. Our crops and flowers would not exist without her. Now it's time for us to recognize her, one of our planet's matriarchs, with the support that she deserves. I can't imagine a world without honeybees. Can you? Thanks.